The divisional round is here in a few short days. We got plenty to talk about. We want to talk about some of the biggest storylines as we head into this weekend and what we're going to watch for in each of these games. Certainly a lot to discuss, a lot to break down. We've already done our matchup previews. If you want to check out what we had to say and what our model has to say about each game, just click on the channel below and find that game, or you can watch the entire clip as a whole. Let's start from the top. AFC, the gift that keeps on giving. Patrick Mahomes versus Josh Allen. These guys are 3-3 head-to-head all time. Patrick Mahomes is undefeated in the divisional round of the NFL. That's a crazy stat. However, Patrick Mahomes has never played a divisional round game on the road. And the last time that these two teams played was Week 14, where the Bills edged out the Chiefs 20-17. So, it's hard to beat a team twice in the NFL. We know that. Chiefs are traveling to Buffalo, and it's hard to win in Buffalo. We know that. So this game, it's going to be awesome. It's going to be awesome. There's a couple of concerns I have on the Bills side of the football, one being the injuries that they continue to suffer on the defensive side of the ball. Throughout the year, they suffered a ton, notably Matt Milano and Tre'Davious White. But it just continues to pile up, and it did last week, and we're going to keep monitoring these. But we had linebacker Terrell Bernard go out with an ankle injury. He was carted off. Balin Spector went out with a weird back injury that we saw. And, of course, corner Teron Johnson. So they're down another corner potentially. They did not practice this Wednesday, so we'll monitor the injury report for this Thursday and further on. Gabe Davis also didn't practice. He has that knee injury. They're certainly looking to have him back this weekend, so we'll keep monitoring that. But there's concern. And it's hard to think that, if the Bills can't have at least half of these guys gear up and play, that the Chiefs are going to give them a run for their money on the offensive side of the ball. I mean, you'd have to think if the Bills are missing half of their defense up into this point that they started off the year with, Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes are going to exploit that, and they certainly have, or they certainly can. But, the Chiefs, they've struggled as of late offensively. Surprisingly, last week in the cold weather game in the frozen tundra, where it felt like negative 10 degrees, was one of their best offensive performances to date. We saw Rashee Rice kind of establish himself as Patrick Mahomes' top receiving option, which is surprising because Travis Kelce, not only has he kind of been demoted, but he had 2 egregious drops last week that were kind of just like, I've never seen that out of Travis Kelce ever. So it's something to monitor, something we're going to continue to watch for. But Rashee Rice, dude knows ball, and he's great at the game. So excited to see his continued development as Patrick Mahomes' top receiver, and excited to see his role in this Buffalo Bills game. Certainly a lot to be excited about. The model likes the Bills -3.5. I'll leave it at that. If you want to check out our full game preview, just make sure to go check that out as well. All right. Sticking in the AFC, one of the best stories of the year. We have 2 young quarterbacks that are finding a lot of success in the playoffs. One of them being CJ Stroud. This guy is the easiest guy to root for, hands down. One of my favorite stories in the NFL. I love watching this dude play. I love watching him off the field. He's just got this extreme charisma about himself and carries himself you would have think he's been in the league for 10 years. Just watching his mannerisms and the way he treats others and the way that he talks about the game. Him coming into Baltimore is going to be a steep task to handle nonetheless. The Ravens are one of the most well-rounded teams on both sides of the football. Top 3 in EPA per play and EPA per play allowed. It's going to be really tough for CJ Stroud to come in here and be perfect, but we've seen it before. CJ Stroud can be perfect. So not much to really monitor on the injury side for either one of these teams. However, Mark Andrews was a full participant in practice this week. We saw him, practice in full on Wednesday, and I expect him to continue to practice in full throughout the rest of the week. Super excited about that. We'll continue to watch the situation that happens there because I think Isaiah Likely has played too well for the Ravens to pull him off of the field. So I'm very interested to watch for how Todd Monken draws up plays for these 2 guys, because Mark Andrews, when he's on the field, he is Lamar Jackson's best target in the receiving game. But Isaiah Likely has played too well and has been too reliable in the passing game for them to take him off the field. So we'll watch that. I'm very excited to see how Todd Monken handles that. And we'll see if they do something like the Bills do, where they do a lot of 12 personnel. They have Dalton Kincaid in the slot and Dawson Knox at the tight end position. We'll see if they do something like that. I don't know, but I'm excited nonetheless. One thing we'll have to watch for those of you who remember the 2019 playoffs, we saw an early exit from the Ravens, and they were top seed. They very similar build to how this team is built this week, or this year, excuse me. However, the Tennessee Titans upset them by forcing Lamar Jackson to beat him in the pocket. And, I think that the development that Lamar Jackson has had as a passer is monumental compared, where he is today compared to where he was back in 2019 is it's black and white. It's two completely different, it's just his development has really proven successful for the Ravens. So I think that I'm not worried about him as a passer, whereas back in 2019, we saw the Titans force him to beat him with his arm, and he just couldn't do it at that time, but he can now. So with the career development that Lamar Jackson's undergone, and with a team that John Harbaugh has been able to put together where they're top 3 in EPA per play and top 5 in offensive and defensive DVOA, we'll see if they can kind of break that curse and not let 2019 playoffs happen all over again. So a lot to be excited about. The injuries are looking good for the Ravens. They had the extra time to rest. It looks like they'll have nearly everybody at a full go, Mark Andrews even. So crazy comeback by him. But that's certainly something we'll be watching for. Hey, let's flip it over to the NFC. And we'll start with the 49ers and the Packers. CJ Stroud was the biggest storyline after the wild card weekend until Jordan Love absolutely beat the shit out of the Cowboys. One of the craziest playoff performances I've seen, especially out of a young quarterback like Jordan Love, which is awesome. The Packers will be one of the most fun teams to watch down the road. And I think that what we're going to have to watch for in this game is how the 49ers game plan for the Packers when they don't have a guy to really game plan for other than Jordan Love. I think what makes the Packers so good right now is their young talent has developed into a very, very talented group of weapons. And you never know who's going to be the wide receiver one or that guy that week. It changes. It could be Melton. It could be Dobbs. It could be Christian Watson now. He's healthy, ready to go. It could be Jane Reed. Dude's been balling lately. And then Aaron Jones, he had his way against this Cowboys defense. It will be tough for the 49ers to game plan for a single guy. They're going to have to game plan for it all. Now, if there was a team to be able to do it, it'd be the 49ers or the Ravens. But, man, this defense is built different. They have talent all over the ball. So we'll certainly be watching for the head-to-head matchup between Matt LaFleur and Kyle Shanahan, two of the brighter offensive minds in the game, and we'll see if Jordan Love can continue his momentum against the 49ers. The 49ers, it's tough. It's tough to not side with them in this game because everybody's healthy. Trent Williams, he's ready to roll. Debo, he was banged up, but he's ready to go. Brandon Ayuk's healthy. Christian McCaffrey is healthy. Everybody's healthy on the offensive side of the ball. So it's going to be a steep task for this Green Bay defense considering they're 24th in EPA per play allowed. I know they had a great performance against the Cowboys, but you can't ignore how some of the later season went for their defense, especially statistically. So something to watch for. Model likes San Francisco by 6. So Packers to cover, but 49ers to win. Now, last but not least, the team of fate, team of destiny, and the Detroit Lions. What a story. This is the first time in Detroit Lions history where they were host 2 playoff games in the same year. Wow. What a story. one of the easier teams to root for. I think them and the Texans are definitely fan favorites from everybody in playoff week. And man, Jared Goff has been one definitely a feel good story. I love watching him. We have two quarterbacks who are kind of slept on for their entire career, and heading into this year even. And Jared Goff and Baker Mayfield, and they've kind of proved everybody wrong as they head into the divisional round of the playoffs. The Lions healthy, Laporta played 85% of the snaps. There's really nothing to worry about on that side of the ball. And there was some controversy. There's some controversy into this game. I think the Lions could have won by more against the Rams if there wasn't some questionable penalties. But hopefully they can clean that up as the Bucs travel to Detroit after just routing the Rams. Bucs will have everybody fully healthy. Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, they'll be ready to roll. Mayfield has continued to silence the critics, man. He's helped the Buccaneers win their third straight NFC South title and became the first quarterback in franchise history to throw for 300 plus yards and 3+ touchdowns in a playoff game, including Tom Brady. That's crazy. So they travel to Detroit. One thing we're going to watch for in this game is points. Detroit, they are 24th overall in EPA per pass allowed. Bucs are 25th overall in EPA per pass allowed. So the question is, who takes advantage of those leaky secondaries and who locks it down? And that'll really be the highlighted weaknesses of both teams. But certainly, nonetheless, two feel-good stories in the quarterback position on both sides of the ball. And, of course, the Detroit Lions trying to break all curses that they have faced over the past 30 years. Guys, we appreciate you watching. If you want to watch individual game breakdowns, make sure to check out our channel and see what the model has to say about each of these games. We'll be back here next week for Championship Weekend.